Train Lover 16. The train, for its size, is the fastest vehicle on land, and the locomotives of Redcliff Loco Yard are the power behind the stations, industries and train lines that make up the well-renowned Redcliff and Guinea Bridge Railway. This is Redcliff Railway Tales. Construction on the Redcliff and Guinea Bridge Railway's Heychester Extension was now well underway. They'd made it as far as Blue Hive, and construction was about to start on the final stretch of the first phase, the Darthurst Incline, which would take the railway up to the namesake town and its new station and freight yard. However, the climb was very steep, and even Sir Callum was surprised by how steep it was. I'm sorry, how steep did you say it was, sir? 1 in 35. Jesus, that's steeper than the Licky Incline. Indeed, which is the main reason I purchased the new engine who's arriving today. He's a Crocodile locomotive from Switzerland, and he's strong. Very strong. He will play a crucial role in getting the extension finished as quickly as possible, and once the line to the Blue Hive slate mine is complete, he'll be pulling slate trains up and down Darthurst Vale. I've heard a lot about these so-called crocodile locomotives, but I never thought I'd actually get to see one for myself. Why are they called crocodiles anyway? Because they have cabs at both ends and look like the snout of a crocodile. Is that so? Well, now I'm really intrigued to see what they look like. Max overheard Sir Callum and Mr. Eric's conversation and took great suspicion to the part about the new crocodile locomotive being strong. He was now concerned that the crocodile's strength would outmatch his own. That lunchtime, as Max was waiting for his next train, he heard an unfamiliar horn, and a large brown electric locomotive pulled up in the passing loop next to him.
Hello, is this where I'm supposed to wait for my train?
Yes, it is.
Oh good, I'm Ottmar. Who are you?
I'm Max. Are you that new so-called crocodile locomotive?
Why yes, I am.
Max tried his best to come off as friendly, despite already having mild contempt for Otmar. Right, well, welcome to the Redcliff and Guinea Bridge Railway.
Thank you. This extension sounds really exciting.
It is, Ottmar. Mr. Eric is taking immense pride in its construction. Just then, Brian arrived with Max's train. Thanks, Brian. Then, Emma brought Ottmar's train. It was at least twice as long as Max's, and loaded with building materials for Blue Hive Station and track pieces for the incline. Max stared in disbelief as Emma coupled it up to Ottmar.
Here's your train, Ottmar.
Thank you, Emma.
My God, Ottmar, can you really pull a train that long and heavy without a single banker?
Oh, absolutely, Max. I've been pulling heavy trains like this for like 100 years.
If you say so. I'd best be off. Don't want to make you late. See you later. Max grumbled to himself about how obvious it now was that Ottmar was stronger than him, all the way to Guinea Bridge Junction. Not long after he arrived, Ottmar passed him in the opposite direction and headed on to the extension.
Hello again, Max.
Hey, Ottmar. Look at him, swanking along the tracks with that mighty train of his. Why won't Mr. Eric let me pull trains as long and as heavy as that? Ottmar soon reached Blue Hive. His train was unloaded, and construction on the station and incline began. 3 weeks later, the station was complete, and the tracks had been laid all the way up the incline and into Darthurst, which was to be the halfway point of the extension. The completion of the station, the passing loop and freight yard, would mark the completion of the first phase, and allow it to be open to rail traffic. That evening, as Max returned to the loco yard, the other engines were talking about the rapid progress that had been made on the first phase.
Did you hear? Mr. Eric's already got inquiry about when we can start running trains.
Excellent. That won't be long now. I'll be taking all the building materials and track for the station and freight yard up there tomorrow.
Max overheard this, and it gave him a naughty idea. He was determined to show everyone that he was just as strong as Ottmar. The next morning, he woke up early and headed to the rolling stock yard. Brian was preparing everyone's first trains of the day when Max arrived.
Oh, hello, Max. What brings you here at this time of morning?
Good morning, Brian. I was wondering if I could take Ottmar's train for him. I figured that the sooner it gets to Darthurst, the sooner construction of the station and freight yard can start.
I suppose, but what about your train?
Give it to Ottmar. He could do with pulling a lighter train for a change.
Alright then, if you insist.
Thank you, Brian. You won't regret making this change. Soon, Max was coupled up to the long and heavy train and set off. Half an hour later, Ottmar came into the yard in search of his train.
Good morning, Brian. Where's my train? I thought you'd have it ready by now.
Hello, Ottmar. There's been a slight change of plan. Max kindly offered to take your train for you, so now you're taking his. It's on the track right next to your right.
What? Why?
Well, I shunted it here because I need to prepare the picnic fly on this track for...
Brian, you sauerkraut! Why did Max take my train?
I know what you meant. I'm just teasing. It said something about wanting to get it to Darthurst as soon as possible, so construction can start.
Sounds fishy. Max is very strong, I admit, but why would he take a train that was meant for me?
Well, Max did go through a phase where he tried to show off his strength once. Maybe he feels threatened by you and your strength, and now he wants to prove he's the railway's strongest engine. Again.
What? So all this time he's just been jealous and was only pretending to be friendly with me?
Seems that way.
I can't believe this! He'll almost certainly be in trouble at the incline.
Better be on standby just in case something happens.
Meanwhile, Max was now on the extension, enjoying himself enormously. Ha! I'm not struggling in the slightest. Silly Ottmar. But as he roared through Shenbrook Station, smoke began billowing from the rear bogie of one of the wagons. His conductor saw it immediately and blew his whistle repeatedly and waved his red flag. Max knew at once that something was wrong and made an emergency stop. Oh my! A hotbox! No worries, Max. I'll put this out and we'll be on our way again in no time. Once the conductor had made sure that the damage wasn't severe enough to prevent them from continuing, they set off again. Soon they were approaching the incline. Max charged at it for a good run-up, completely failing to notice the break in the track right before the start of the climb. As the train passed over it, the tracks were separated even further. Max didn't notice this as he was concentrating on the climb. At first, he found it easy, what with the speed he had built up. But soon, he began to struggle. Max had predicted this, but was still certain he would make it to the top.
Come on, I can do it.
The top came closer and closer as the weight of the wagons put more and more strain on Max. His wheels slipped furiously and smoke shot from his engine. The noise was absolutely tremendous. Suddenly, there was a loud clang. Max stopped and began to slip back down. His conductor jumped clear as Max and his train rolled down the hill going faster and faster. As the rear of the train reached the bottom, it crashed at the damaged tracks and piled up. Though thankfully, Max and the first few wagons were able to remain on the tracks. Oh, what happened? My engine hurts. Soon the conductor reached Max, climbed onto him, and opened his engine doors and inspected the damage. Well, Max, you've done it this time. You've worked your engine so hard that 2 of the cylinders have broken off their bolts. You can technically still move, but with only half your power. You're certainly not getting up this hill without help now. Max didn't feel anywhere near as clever now. Meanwhile, Ottmar had returned to Redcliff having finished Max's freight run. Dora was there, looking a bit worried.
Ottmar, I'm so glad to see you. I need your help.
What's the matter, Dora?
I've just received a Morse code message. Max has had an accident on the Darthurst incline.
Oh, Godzilla's sake, I knew that would happen. What can I do?
My battery is being charged at the moment, so I can't help. I need you to take Colin and Caitlin to the site of the accident.
No problem.
Thank you.
Well, this is surprising. The strong and mighty Max not only failed to get my train up one of the steepest gradients in the country, but crashed at the bottom as well. That's what you get for taking others' trains without asking just to be a show-off.
I'm sorry, Ottmar. I feel like an idiot now.
Don't worry. Clearly you've learned your lesson. We should get this mess cleaned up now.
Colin and Caitlin worked as quickly as they could. Thankfully, all the wagons and cargo had suffered little damage and didn't have to be taken off the train. Before long, the whole train was back on the rails.
Well done, you two.
Thanks, Ottmar.
Now then, this train still needs to get to Darthurst. Would you like some help up the hill, Max?
Of course! Ottmar slowly moved forward and coupled up to the back of the train. Once the conductor had secured the couplings, Ottmar gave a long blast of his horn. Max acknowledged with a long blast back, and they started up the hill again. Max was seriously taken aback at how little work he actually had to do. Ottmar was pushing him and his train, and pulling Colin and Caitlin up the gradient as if it were nothing. Wow, Ottmar, fantastic work!
Just glad to be of service, Max.
Keep going, I can see the top. With a tremendous effort, the train finally crested the incline. We've made it! Thank you, Ottmar!
You're welcome, Max.
It wasn't long before they arrived at the construction site at the station and yard. Mr. Eric was waiting for them. Well done, Ottmar. He then went to see Max. I'm very disappointed in you, Max. I thought you were well beyond your phase of wanting to prove your strength, and it got you into trouble yet again. Sorry, sir. I just feel so insecure about my strength, especially with Ottmar around now. I completely understand, but I have an idea that might help you stop feeling insecure about your strength once and for all. And what might that be, sir? How would you like to transfer to Blue Hive and be the dedicated banker of the Darthurst Incline? Your strength makes you perfect for the job, and you'll even have your own personal shed. That would be absolutely wonderful, Mr. Eric. Thank you so much. And so it was arranged. Shortly after construction on Darthurst Station and Freight Yard began, construction on Max's new shed at Blue Hive also began. 4 weeks later, the first phase was finally complete. By this time, Peter had returned from crew. At the end of that week, Mr. Eric had excellent news for everyone. Good evening, everyone. I've got some great news. The Department for Transport has just given us the okay to start running trains to Darthurst next week. May I take this opportunity to reiterate my praise and gratitude for all your hard work over the past 4 months. I've never been more honoured to be the controller of this railway.
You're most welcome, sir, and may I say it's great to be home. I wouldn't want to work on any railway other than yours.
I'm flattered, Peter. Thank you so much. Anyway, I'm off home now. The grand opening is taking place this Friday, and I hope you're all looking forward to it. Good night, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. Ottmar, we couldn't have made this much progress on the extension this quickly without your help. Thank you so much for your hard work, especially for bringing all the materials for my new shed in just one train. I'm going to miss sleeping here with everyone else, but I'm very honoured to have been given my new job.
You're welcome. I'm glad we put our differences aside. Good night, Max.
Likewise, Ottmar. Good night. Unfortunately, no one could have known that the preparations for the grand opening would not go totally without a hitch. But that's a story for another day. Oh, Mr. Eric, you're invaluable. You run so many trains to catch, and soon there will be more. Your railway's unlike any other, so I'll be selling my car. Oh, Mr. Eric, what a fine man you are. Oh, Mr. Eric, you're invaluable. You run so many trains to catch, and soon there will be more. Your railway's unlike any other, so I'll be selling my car. Oh, Mr. Eric, what a fine man you are.